My father told me that the police go around there and they'll just shoot them down. And whether they were just police or the managers or whatever they were, told the old people that for them to believe it. And they did believe it. They were scared. They were scared to talk lingo. Them poor old buggers couldn't act like they wanted to act like their own culture. And now today it hurts me, and I've still got that feeling that I can't speak it out, because that's how I was taught, not to speak things out.
Back when the government was handing out all this land, the Brown brothers came across from England. And just over there, they're digging a post hole and they found gold over there. That's what started this gold rush here in Croydon back in the 1800s. So here, Croydon boomed. When they found all that gold here, they found 30,000 ounces of gold. But in that same process, when they built this town, just remember all our Tagalaka people, they removed them from here. Tagalaka people taken down to Cherbourg, Palm Island, Warrabinda, Yarrabah. They was taken away from all this country here. So at one point in time, all this countryside here, Tagalaka people lived like a semi-nomadic life, because all the other tribes from the other area, traditional owners, used to come here to Croydon, Tagalaka Country. Our people was removed, they put in missions or taken to particular cattle properties, pastoral properties to work on those properties. And that's exactly what happened. What went with that same process, that colonisation process I call it, thus went with our culture, with our Tagalaka culture, our language, our dance, and that is because that was taken away for us Tagalaka mob. All that storylines and all that knowledge was taken away. That's the reason why today we can't talk language, or we can't, we don't do corroboree and all that sort of stuff, was because of that early colonisation stuff that happened in this region.
I didn't learn anything. I didn't even have time to sit with the old people for them to hand things down to me. And when I asked my grandma and grandpa, Granny Mary answered, "No, Gladys, we'll get shot down or get sent away."
So what they had to do, they massacred Tagalaka people. There are two sites that I've heard of from elders. There's one on Esmeralda Station, and there's another one around on Elevator Station. So for me, looking at Tagalaka people, with us, we were either massacred or sent away. So there goes a lot of our knowledge of country, ceremony, and language, all gone in one foul swoop.
One big thing that, that's missing in all of our lives here, actually, the generation that is still with us today, that haven't got that language. And it's sad, very sad to go through that without, knowing your background. Got the country here, but there's nothing there that, that we can speak about and call, like language and what we know there. At this very time, there's only a certain amount of us left because of what actually happened to our ancestors.
Early research and conversation with elders suggest that this original name was Tagalaka. So it wasn't Tagalaka and it's Tagalog. And that same story evolves around our Dreamtime story here about the Brolga dreaming, where the Brolga told all the other animals that they needed to move to higher ground. There was this big flood coming, and that waters from the Gulf of Carpentaria here. It went as far south as Lake Eyre in South Australia. European history, you'll find it there, and they refer to that as being the last ice age.
Yeah, in the background here, over there, you can see the nest over there, the Brolga dreaming, that's his nest over there. There's a few more back over there, been around for quite a few years and the storyline being handed down. So we just want to keep that going. Just want to get access to the land and manage it a bit better.
All that little area there is paintings, yeah. And it would be nice if we had ranges to keep the sea looking good.
Yeah, we've got some cave paintings out here. We got some unusual rock formations out here, but that's something that Tagalog people never have had the opportunity to go and record or take photos and have a look at. So there's a culturally rich background there that we need to explore.
There's a whole heap of springs, you know, there's spring systems where our ancestors travel. They are important for us to look after. There's some that may have been damaged, you know, from cattle being on country, like your feral pigs and that. For us, they show the journey, you know, of how our ancestors moved from one side of the country to the other. And some of those places, those springs are special places for our women.
This is one of the springs that haven't been looked after. It's up on the Democrat Creek area, or Democrat Hill. This is what the water's like. It's all slimy. We've never been able to get out here and look after the place. And it was nice and clear years ago, but now it's gone worse. So we're planning on having some rangers to keep these water rails clean.
The water guana is the totem for the Tagalaka people. He's not to be touched, harmed in any way. We have that great connection to our waters and how we need to preserve it, look after it. We've had a lot of mining in our area. They've damaged our lagoon systems, water rail systems, so that's important for us to look after it and for our totem, the water guana.
2012 native title determination provided the opportunity for Tagalog to go forward. I think the pathway's laid now, so we need to start putting the jigsaw together, networking amongst the pastoral people, networking with other people in this region, and try and go forward and manage our country.
A lot of our directors currently now, we're working full-time, weekends and whatnot, whatever we can spare in, to find whatever ways that we can get our people back on the ground to start reviving Tagalaka and saving what we have now so we can enhance it and utilize it and preserve it for our children.
I like to see all my people come back to this country and to show their children, and what I like to see is our younger generation get more involved with Tagalaka.
Yep, 2 and 3. Wild banana.
We've been trying to do this for years, looking after our country, the sacred sites and cave paintings and our spring holes and doing all that, you know, it's just to try and have, be able to manage it all.
A lot of country has been subject to erosion and other wildfires, and not very or much managed in a way that Tagalaka people would have managed prior to colonisation.
Yeah, just trying to manage the country with fire, getting our fire management up and running and working with our neighbours and other people around here. Yeah, we just want to improve it for the animals, and that when we start burning it properly and that and managing it with the rangers, it'll bring animals back in there and clear the country up a bit more. As you can see, just those hot fires come through and ruin the country and bring up the weeds, and that we want to sort of manage it with our ranger programs and that, and bring back food and that bush tucker and that back here.
The land is also suffering because of what's been put in place since the white man actually came in and taken that away from us. And what they are doing there now, they are erasing stuff on the land. Cattle are just walking over top, treading them on everything and chewing all things away. And we can just stay strong within ourselves to get out there and try and gain what's left out there. Try and look after our land and go from there.
Going forward for Tagalaka people now is we need to purchase land. We have land as in ownership, not just access. If we have ownership, everything else follows that. So ranges, economic development, tourist businesses, everything becomes quite apparent after we have ownership. But at the moment, that connection back to country is a starting point to help revive our culture.
Yeah, so getting a station or great big piece of land for Tagalaka people, that'd be great incentive for us to move forward and looking after the country, but also providing that employment, you know, and be economic viable in moving forward for us, our children and grandchildren.
We get on good with all the local business people, not only local people, the other white community people that are in Croydon. You know, we all work together, the township, the town, the people in the town. Yeah, it's good to have that going, you know.
Yeah, our differences today are pretty much all put to one side. It's not forgotten, it's just parked over to one side. But relationships are a lot more forthcoming, and as a group of people, again, we need to step up and really get a grasp on what's available out there, and really, you know, really get our people to start thinking in that space, because if we don't make that stance ourselves, well, nobody's just going to come and hand it to us in a silver platter. We've got to go and do that stuff ourselves, eh?
We're moving, but we're not moving fast enough, I don't think. But we are moving.
The country needs the help of all Tagalaka people, wherever you are. You just need to, we ask you to just stand up and come with us, you know. It's always been about asking every Tagalaka people to come forward and give you knowledge, give you time. It's something that's going to be lost forever if we don't start now. Now is the time to start. now is the journey for Tagalaka people to be whole again.